right, you guys, welcome back. Today I have two influential people here to talk about what they have learned in their marriage and what you can learn from them. And also we're going to get into a little bit of the viral topics that's they're talking about out here about the gender wars and their knowledge behind it. So first, I'm just going to let them introduce themselves and you can just tell me a little bit about how you guys met or how long did it take for you to, know that she was the one and how long you've been married, things of that nature.
All right, so I'm from Georgia, military station out here in Texas.
Thank you for
So
your
we met.
service.
Oh, appreciate it, appreciate it. She's from El Paso, Texas. So that's where I'm stationed at.
Mhm.
And we met at a salsa club dancing. And
Oh,
I think from the time we met, which was in July,
He's the better dancer too.
to
okay. So he taught you some moves, huh?
yeah, from the time we met, first dance to walking down the aisle, which was courthouse, was 96 days. It was 90 something days. So
Wow.
knew pretty early on,
Hmm.
from that first dance. I felt like I could tell a lot about her femininity from the way she danced with me. And it was after we got done dancing, she grabbed my arm and let me lead her off the dance floor, which
Oh,
don't seem like a lot, but
yeah. It
in
was a lot
today
to you.
she grabbed my arm and just let me lead off the dance floor. I was like, you trying to leave right now? You trying to go somewhere? Let's go to Whataburger.
So you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, so
It's it's
I don't
it's good that you said that. You said 96 days because a lot of times they say that men do know what they want, and when they see a woman and they say, okay, this is gonna be my wife, they know right off the bat, and it doesn't take that long for them to know, who they want to be with. And that's a lot of times what some women they fail to realize, even when they're in a long-term relationship, maybe 10, maybe 15, or sometimes even 20 years, in the back of their mind, sometimes a man think that it might be a better option out there. But when a man knows, he knows. So I'm glad you mentioned that.
Mhm.
yeah, like I said, she after we got done dancing, I was just gonna walk off because you don't want to be all over a woman. So I'm trying to walk off so I don't get called thirsty or something. And she grabbed my arm. Hey, that's all I needed to know. That's it. Let's go. Let's. You trying to go get a taco? You trying to go get a milkshake or something? It don't take much. So I would say for the women out there who in long relationships,
Mhm.
the guy know whether or not, especially if you doing your all, you putting forth your best step, and he's
Mhm.
still on the fence. I think I need to let it go.
Oh, right, right. So y'all, hey, out there, just listen to what they gotta say. Because how long have you been married now?
Oh, that's her realm.
I'll
A
let
year
you
and a
answer that.
half. We got married October last year.
Yeah, we
Hmm.
met in July, got married in October.
Hmm.
Okay, and you guys have a beautiful baby.
Yes, and she was born a week or 2 weeks after our year of when we met anniversary.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get into the next question. What is the biggest challenges you all had to face within your marriage?
For me, okay, because I military, I'd have had a few marriages, a few divorces,
Hmm.
but each one of them I learned and kept progressing. But I
Yeah.
really had to look at all of the mistakes that I had made in the past.
Hmm.
And since this one is very worth it, I had to make sure that I didn't repeat none of those,
Yes.
plus be on, like, I would say best behavior, but just do every single thing right. Like normally, if I got in a big argument early on in a relationship,
Hmm.
whatever, man, I'm
Right.
out.
Dismissive.
Yeah, I'm out. But
Right.
basically, I had to work on me and know that this is the end game. So approach arguments very, very different.
Right.
How can we fix the situation
Hmm.
versus just arguing for argument?
Right.
What
It's
about you?
all about self-awareness because like you said, just running off. I was a runner too. Like if I just had big problems, I felt like just running was the best solution. I could just start over, start over, start over. But every time you start over, you still have problems. So it's
Mhm.
best to become self-aware so you can just tackle those problems and fix them, and it'll make you a stronger person. And use positive reinforcement because with reinforcement you think about it as punishment, yelling and not listening to the person and understanding them. But with positive reinforcement, you'll say, okay, I love the way you do this, or I miss the way you do this, versus you did this wrong or you did that wrong. And then the person will be better receptive to that information and want to do it more if you tell them that you love and miss the way that they do it.
Agree. Mm-hmm.
Anything you worked on, baby? Or you said
Yes.
whatever that
What was the question?
Is there anything that you learned in your marriage, like the biggest challenges that you had faced in your marriage?
My communication skills. I think
Mm-hmm.
Ray has great communication skills because he is a leader, and he learned how to vocalize things respectfully.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't. I'm a mother, and I have two other children that I came into this marriage with, so I could explode vocally on them. And
Uh-huh.
then when I came and I lost my stuff and I came at him sideways, he was like, "No, we're not gonna do that." And he called me out, and I had to really learn how to communicate my feelings respectfully and authentically without just being disrespectful, loud, and waiting until the last minute,
Yeah.
harboring them and waiting until the last minute to explode. I think that's my biggest lesson that I'm still working on, but I think I've gotten better.
Oh, yeah. Yes, you have, baby.
Well, that's good to just acknowledge that you want to change things. Sometimes people just think, "Oh, it's about how I feel and I'm right about everything," and they're not willing to change it. So that's a good thing that you both can point out the key factors of what y'all need to work on and then care about it enough to work on it together. So what kind of advice would you give people that want to be married, or maybe are on the fence about being married in the future, but they hear a lot of bad advice from other people and say that, oh, don't get married, marriage is a bad thing. What advice would you give them to change their perspectives on it?
One, be ready.
Hmm.
Two, you have to lay everything out in the beginning, good and bad, and get on the same page. I know one thing that my wife did early on. I think we got into it about something, and I went into the spare bedroom to
Hmm.
sleep at night.
Oh,
And she came in there and turned on the lights, like, nope, we're not gonna do this. You're gonna come back in here.
that's me.
Whatever we're gonna go to sleep happy. We're gonna talk about it, cry about it, fuss about it, but we're gonna go to sleep in the same bed and we're gonna wake up in the morning. And
Hmm.
so now, like whatever issue we have that
Any
day,
issue.
we sit there and we talk about it all night long until we get on the same page, and don't let it carry over
Carry
into the
over.
next week or
Mhm.
go sleep
Right.
in different bedrooms. Don't allow no division from outside.
Exactly.
So
Hmm.
that was probably the best thing that I learned from her when she came in there and turned them lights on. And
Right.
I was hot when she turned them lights on.
But it did help you though, right?
It worked. It
Yeah.
worked. So now,
Hmm.
now I come to every situation realizing that there is an issue, but we're gonna be together as a team. Like we
Right.
approach everything as a team. Yep.
Do you think that also, like, the way you grow up, or like your family dynamics play a part in how you behave in your marriage? Because I know for me, like, I'm the same way. I would like to just go off to myself and not talk about things and try to deal with my problems myself, and sometimes just let it build up and I'll explode, like what she was saying. But also, like, with the family dynamic that I had, we wasn't really close, and my family is really small, so I didn't have that type of structure. And I know my husband, he has a big family, and they sit at the table and they eat and they do all these things together, so he had to teach me how to be more family oriented and more close and warm, and things of that nature. So do you think that that plays a part in how we act when we're meeting different people and we get in a
Absolutely.
marriage?
Mm-hmm.
So I come from a big family. I'm the youngest of seven.
Mm-hmm.
She is the oldest of
Four.
four, right? So both of us kind of have big family dynamics
Mm-hmm.
that we've already dealt with. And that was probably one of the icings on the cake.
Yeah.
Okay, she a family person. Okay, because when we get back, back around my family, it's not gonna be nothing for her to like to transition and go over there and it's everybody laughing and joking
Mm-hmm.
around Christmas time. So
But like you said, the way we grew up is a reflection of the way we deal with situations in our own marriage. Because I feel like me exploding on Ray and my children is a learned behavior from my mother.
Yeah.
And even growing up, I would side with my dad and
Mhm.
not like that side of her. I was still doing it as a grown woman
And didn't even
until Ray
realize
called
it.
me out. And until he called me out, and then I was like, wow, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to do that.
Mhm.
And I fixed it. So I do think even acknowledging the things that we've seen our parents do, we have to call ourselves out on that as well.
Right. I'm glad y'all can see that, because a lot of people, they don't see that. What about like balancing friendships? Like, I know that sometimes people have their single friends before they get married, and then when they get married, they kind of, shift, or they have to let their friends go for certain reasons because they might have a negative influence. Did that change for you all, your friendships?
No, that's one we kind of talked about that in the beginning. Well, I'm away from my friends and family structure anyway, so it was easy for me. But we kind of talked that we gonna be each other best friends. So you come to
Yeah,
me and you talk to me about it. So you pretty much is playing defense. Don't let nothing
right.
on the outside come through. So if you out, spending your energy on your friends, asking them for advice, now ask me. And then if
Hmm.
we can't work about it, then you maybe need to go out and ask friends. But
Hmm.
I come home to my wife every day and we just sit down and talk and watch TV. So,
Okay.
but if I had a bunch of friends, where would
That's
that?
so many different influences coming
Yeah.
here and there, and you're kind of confused. And when you come into your household, it's like you're reacting off of what they're saying and not asking your partner about what they want and how
Mhm.
they feel.
Now I do have a partner, but he's married too, and
Hmm.
he's a great dad as well. So
Hmm.
I keep friends like that.
Right.
But friends that ain't on the same goals as far as marriage, life,
Hmm.
money, morals. No, I don't really keep them around, and I definitely don't bring them around my family. But my
That's
friend Martin,
awesome.
he pretty good though.
That's good. That's awesome.
I cut off male friends,
Hmm.
but with both of us being divorced and coming into this marriage wanting to make this work,
Yes.
because we had already been married and divorced, and because we both brought all of our baggage and put it on the table the day that we met, and
Hmm.
we agreed that we want to start a family, we want to be a blended family, and we're already coming into that
Hmm.
obstacle. I didn't want any outside influences, anything
Right.
to be like, who's this, where they call it, and you have to explain anything. I thought, if this is going to be a priority,
Hmm.
so I did cut off all male friends.
Hmm.
And with COVID, kind of some of
That
my
helped a
single
lot.
friends, kind of, the girls that I would normally hang around with, we've kind of just been distant because of that. And
Mhm.
um, you're no longer really on the same field as far as the way you think
Mhm.
about life anymore with single friends anyway.
Right. And then you just never know the ulterior motives of people, and they can't really understand your lifestyle when they're living a whole totally different lifestyle. Yeah.
Exactly.
One more thing about that.
Mhm.
So, like specifically to the fellas out there, I'm speaking from experience. You know what I'm saying? I didn't
Mhm.
always walk straight and narrow as far as being the loving type of straight and narrow husband that I am now. The peace of mind when you don't got nothing to hide, it ain't nothing in your phone. You ain't nervous because your phone's sitting around or your wife looking through your phone. I don't get nervous
Mhm.
at all. Like, just, but you put everything out there in the beginning and then you close all those doors. The
Mhm.
peace of mind that you have, like when you meet the one,
Mhm.
do that and you'll have peace of mind. You come home to peace
Yeah.
Right.
within yourself as well, too, because you're not hiding anything.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like a weight lifted off your whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. You're right. So I want to talk a little bit about the viral video that's going around, Kevin Samuels. I was going to ask about that.
Mhm.
But it's not going to be anything too crazy. So, for your wife, I'm going to ask her this. Do you think that women have unrealistic expectations when it comes to trying to find a man, and, if they have the money or whatnot?
You know what? I didn't. I myself. I think I tell my husband I could have used better judgment, but I do think overall, from my friends, from doing therapy and stuff like that, I do think that women do have unrealistic expectations as far as finding somebody equal to what they bring to the table.
Right. And I found myself even before I got married and I was dating, I had women influencing me, letting me like making me think that I had to find this type of man or that type of man.
Same.
But then it's like once I just started doing self work and then I found my husband, we grew together. And people don't realize that it just takes time to be where you need to be and to accomplish the goals that you want. And sometimes everybody's not going to have everything that you're looking for at the time, but that's a part of growth.
I agree. Same. I did have that exterior influence of single friends um, wanting me to look for, men with money, or, stuff like that. And I was like, I want the full package.
Mm-hmm.
I want somebody that's God fearing, that's humble, that's loyal, that's family oriented, because I have children. I want to have another child. I didn't want my main focus to just be finances.
Right. And so, question for you. um, so the part where he said that men most men don't want women that have children, but I see you guys have a blended family. So what else do you think a woman needs to bring to the table other than her children? Like what does she have to show you in order for you to take on that responsibility or just to want to do that?
So first of all, I agree with most of what is out there saying that
Mm-hmm.
having children is, a burden.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the end of the world though, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So what made me overlook it was really my wife's, beauty and personality and how she fit. So like she brought peace to my chaotic life. And but he is telling the truth. My wife's a full-time student, so she don't work. So it wasn't really about her pocketbook, but the morals, and I saw the way she cared and looked after the kids.
Mm-hmm.
I get up every day, my uniforms are ready to go. I usually come home to a hot meal and it's just peace. That overcame the two kids who are pretty much my kids now.
Right.
So it's not the end of the world, but realize that you do have to bring something else to the table other than your looks. You can't have two kids and a bad attitude.
Right.
But you bringing peace to that man's life, a lot of things can be overlooked. You just
Right.
gotta accept that first. I don't think some people accept that first. And
Exactly.
so yeah, that's it.
I
Right.
think so. We had to decide early on what type of a role he was going to have. Now, you said,
Yeah.
are you am I just gonna be the person that has the light on
Mm-hmm.
and I don't tell your kids anything, or are we really going to have a family dynamic? And if he's going to be um the patriarch of the family, then he has to be able to call my children out, decide on disciplinary measures.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to, being a single mom, really feel comfortable with him leading their family and disciplining the kids and stuff like that.
Right.
Because I think a lot of my single friends have had problems
Mm-hmm.
coming into a relationship with children because they don't want anybody to tell their kids anything.
Right. I just did a video about that too. But yeah, that makes it way much harder and it like drives a shift in between the
Yeah.
relationship because that person is trying to do all they can, but then they don't know where they can fit in the situation when you're not communicating what you want from them and how you want them to do things versus, verbally just saying, hey, don't tell my kids anything, or basically saying you don't want them to have anything to do with them on a certain level, but you still want that person to take care of your kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say we talked about everything in the beginning, that was the main
That was the
discussion.
biggest issue.
Mm-hmm.
And then, me being military, I had to calm down a little bit because I came in
Came
strong.
hot.
Came in hot, straight out the press.
What?
So, but we met down the middle, okay, my kids do need a little bit more structure,
Mhm.
but they're not none of your soldiers.
Right.
So
Oh.
we met in the middle of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then little by little, she kind of took a hand off the situation
I
and
started to trust him.
Yeah.
really let me lead it. Like,
Especially because I'm like, I'm the one with the kids. I know.
Hmm.
And every time he called me out on something that I was doing wrong, and I was like, you don't know, you don't have children. It really always bit me in the butt. And my
Oh.
kids literally verbatim played into the exact scenario that he's saying that they were doing. So I was like, he knows what he's talking about. Even though he doesn't have children that he's raising, he knew so much about
Hmm.
people and analyzing and
Yeah.
just human nature. So I was like, I'm just going to trust him. Like after maybe about 4 times, now I go talk to Ray. He deals with it.
Right. That's what I do. Like with my husband, I'm like, just go talk. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, you have to have that type of balance. We're the nurturers, and then most of the
Yes.
time, the man is the disciplinary. So you need that type of balance and that type of structure, and just to sit back and, let the man do his job. Because,
Yeah.
we do our job, and we do it long enough till we think that, okay, we know all the answers. Let me tell you this, or let me tell you that. But sometimes we do need that reinforcement back
Yeah.
into our life to know, hey, our kids need a father too.
Yes. And it
Hmm.
feels good to have that uh taken off of your shoulders and
Yeah.
know that you have a equal counterpart that's going to handle it in the best way.
And that's all a part of just being submissive. You say you
Hmm.
feel that weight lifted off your shoulders.
Yeah.
Now you don't have to do everything on your own. You don't have to make all the decisions on your
Oh
own
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was happy. I'm happy to be in a submissive relationship. I'm happy
Hmm.
to vocalize to him my worries, my concerns, my fears about the children, the family, us moving, anything that I'm having, and he's going to take that information and make the best decision.
Yes. And so this is just my last question. Do y'all have any like further goals that you want to, accomplish as far as like home or school or, just career wise or whatever? Are you where you need to be right now?
we pretty financial wise, we're pretty comfortable.
Hmm.
She don't really have to work. It's
Mhm.
okay if she does, or it don't matter if she's not. But we do have financial goals. We start trading stocks. She give me stock picks sometime, and
Okay.
we do day trading and
Hmm.
everything. But I think we're about to PCS to probably South Carolina, where we're looking at going.
Okay.
Think she's how much longer you got till you finish school, man?
I'll be finished with school in December.
Hmm.
So I think our goals are always changing somewhat. We're
Hmm.
comfortable, but we do have goals. Ray might be going back to school too.
Yeah, I got to finish
Okay,
school
that's
too.
great. What are
So
you going for school for, if you don't mind me asking?
For me, it's either gonna be medical health administration
Hmm.
or either something logistics wise.
Awesome. And what about you? What are you going to school
I'm
for?
getting a bachelor's in Chicano studies. So we were
Hmm.
actually talking about what can I do with that. And it really was just for the sake of having a degree. That's the reason I went back to school was I read a statistic that said that children of parents who are college graduates have a higher chance of being college graduates themselves, which made me want to just get back into school.
Right. That's
So
a good
since I
reason.
don't have to work, we're talking about what can I do with it? Am I going to go
Hmm.
back to school after that to get a degree in something I can actually use?
Right. Okay. So, how does her being submissive make you feel?
So, as a man, you go out into the world every day, and it's a battle dealing with other men. And when you come home, it's just peaceful. And I know some women think like they need to get everything on their own, but as submissive and as loving and caring my wife is, it makes me want to do everything else for her as possible. She's not she's not asking for a brand new car or nothing like that, or get me a Gucci bag, or what's the little crazy Birkin bag. Like she ain't asking for none of that. But because she's not asking for it, it makes me want to go out and work as hard as I can to be able to get it for her, because she's already content with our lifestyle for the most part right
Beautiful.
now. But just being submissive is actually how you get more of the stuff that you want. Like that,
It
that's
just
probably
makes
like,
you want to do those things because she's appreciative about, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for example, she's not, like I said, she's not asking for a car. So I got her a car. And then she was like, it'd be nice if I had a sunroof. So I went and
And
got it
leather seats.
and leather seats and
Aw.
Bluetooth. And so I went and traded that in and got her the one with the sunroof and leather seats. And she didn't even like necessarily want it, but as submissive and as nurturing she is, when I want her to go, when she go out, I want to have whatever she want because
Yeah.
she's the one that keep my life going together. So
Right.
just women out there who like on the fence about being submissive or not, I promise you, you'll get, what's the thing? You get more bees with honey. What's the
You
thing?
attract more people, honey.
Yeah,
Honey.
then
Uh-huh.
yeah, that little state, you
That
know what I'm
thing.
saying?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm
Not
very, very,
having that type of entitled attitude like, hey, this is it. This is all you have to bring to the table. Because
Mhm.
nobody's gonna want to do it for you. They're gonna be like, okay, what is your motives coming into this? I'm all in it, but
Yeah.
you're coming as entitled.
Yeah, I
yeah,
Hmm.
agree.
yeah.
And I think it sets the tone for reciprocity in our relationship. It's constantly feeling um, overjoyed and happy that someone did something for you, the littlest things, and we're just constantly pouring into each other.
So when
Hmm.
I go take a shower, she put my sandals outside the shower and she face them in the direction going toward the sink. And
Mhm.
then my t-shirts and my underwear and everything and towel straight out the dryer is already sitting on the sink.
Oh,
You damn
wow.
right I'm gonna go get
Yes.
her all with a sunroof.
Yeah.
I
The thing is,
understand.
he notices everything that I did. He'll come out and he's so thankful for everything that I do,
Hmm.
which makes me want to do it more and more.
Right.
The smallest thing that I do for him, when I put the sandals like that, he noticed it. If I have his uniform out, he'll notice, and he always says thank you. And I'm not used to that. Um,
And that's part of the positive reinforcement that I was talking about.
exactly.
Doing something nice and then you're coming back saying, hey, I love that. I appreciate that. And it's
Yes.
you want to do it more and more and more.
Yes.
Hmm.
So we're constantly pouring into each other, not from an empty vessel, but from a full vessel of love and respect.
Hmm.
And sometimes I feel like I thought that was the high of the marriage in the beginning.
Hmm.
And it just kind of keeps getting better because he's always thankful for the little things that I do. And then he helps when he sees me that I'm pouring from an empty vessel and I'm drained because we have a newborn and I have two kids
Yeah.
and he like the past weekend him and all the kids helped with the backload of laundry, and
Oh.
this week really helped me get back to feeling energized and happy, and he knows, like he saw it, and I think that's part of being with the right person
Hmm.
and feeling okay to be submissive, because submissive doesn't mean that they're bossing you around.
Right.
It means, like him as the leader of the house was seeing mom's drained and needs some help so she can
Hmm.
get back on track.
And that also play a big part of intimacy too. You know how a lot of women get to a point to where they don't want to do anything with their husbands anymore, or sometimes
Mhm.
they're just drained and tired and they're not getting that help. And being that you said that he
Hey, after them
came,
clothes, after
he
them
came in
clothes,
and he
yeah.
they helped with the laundry and everything, and you was able to rest. So now you're like, man.
It's true. It really is true. Yeah.
Folding clothes all the
I just
time
wanted
now.
to point that out. That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, let me just don't worry, I'll take care of these clothes. Don't you lay down.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's it.
Right. Well, congratulations, you guys, and I wish you guys a long, prosperous marriage. And it was awesome talking to y'all. You guys are a
Thank
beautiful
you. It was
family.
nice meeting you.
Nice
Yes.
meeting you too.
All right.